So how y'all doing today? Hope you're all doing good, fine, and well. It is I, the MGTO, philosopher, also known as the realist. So hope everything's going good, fine, and well for you folks out there. I'm doing okay. Just got finished working, making like super peanuts. Work has been terrible. Temperature got up to like 116 today or something crazy. So, yeah. I'm not too happy about that. The new position I got that's supposed to be set hours. It's not exactly what they promised it to be. The position itself was highly misrepresented, and the total complete lack of communication that's going on with these people and has been going on since day one is largely these misunderstandings are largely attributable to that. So the hours available are much fewer than they originally represented them to be, and the time that you're getting paid for is much less than they represented it to be. So it's really been a let down. Yeah. But I wanted to talk about good things, not focus on this seasonal downturn I'm experiencing that has nearly made me homeless. And still might. But I wanted to focus on good stuff. I'm feeling better. I'm feeling a lot better the past month and a half even. And I attribute that largely to two things. Thing number one would be, well, maybe three things. Thing number one would be eating 100% cacao chocolate. I've now switched to the cocoa. But for about 6 weeks, I was eating the chocolate. And I'd read that was a good source of the flavonoids that are good for your body, that cause your body to not only create, but also then disseminate more stem cells. Of course, we all know what stem cells are. If you don't, I don't know what rock you've been living under. They seek out damaged tissue in your body and help it regenerate. So yes, our bodies do actually make stem cells. You're hearing all the time about these exogenous stem cells. You can get a gigantic dose, 100 million in an IV bag, and it'll heal all your ails, everything that ails you. Yeah, it's very helpful. It's also quite expensive. You could pay upwards of 50 grand for just one treatment. We have not reached a point yet where exogenous stem cells are an option for most people. So I started thinking to myself, well, wait a second now. My body must make stem cells, right? What can I do to make my body create more stem cells? And I started doing some research, and it turns out that studies have been done, and the best source of flavonoids, the best substance you could take to make your own body create more stem cells is chocolate. Which kind of makes sense, because whenever you hear about all these old people that live to be like 120, they talk about eating a pound of chocolate a day for like their whole life. I eats me a pound of chocolate, and I drank me a pound of vodka every day, and I'm 105 now. I think the reaching of 105 is in spite of the vodka, not because of it, but the chocolate might have something to do with it. So I've been eating the chocolate. It takes about 6 to 8 weeks to start to feel the effect. And I finally did start to feel the effect. But it turns out I was taking the least effective form of cacao for flavonoids. Because number one, even if it's 100% cacao chocolate, meaning zero sugar, it's only half of what has the flavonoids, which is cacao powder. And the other half is cacao butter. I was like, oh, I didn't know that. Huh. Yeah. Okay, so what do I need to do to get the full effect? Well, first, cacao powder. Essentially what you would call cocoa and hot chocolate if it was, roasted and had lots of sugar added. I was like, no. That is, that's essentially watering it down. That's distilling it. I want the best. I want that which has the most flavonoids, baby. So it turns out you can buy raw, uncooked, well, that's what raw means, obviously, unroasted cacao powder. So I went on Amazon, and I got some, used the gift card I got for taking this crappy job, which is much crappier than I thought. It's not going to cut the mustard. Hopefully it'll get me through until September when business will pick back up, seasonally speaking, in the job I have been doing. But I got the cacao powder, and it has a lot more flavonoids, like 5.5 to 6 times more, because when you have chocolate, well, the cacao powder that's in that chocolate has been roasted. So that removes a lot of the flavonoids. And then, of course, it's only half cacao powder to begin with. So 15 grams of chocolate is going to have, like, I don't know, was it 78 grams of, well, no, 30 grams of chocolate will only have 78 grams of flavonoids, while 15 grams of raw cacao powder has like 200. And it's like, whoa, man, that's a lot more. Well, it's 1 tablespoon, so, is that right? Well, yeah. But anyway, it's a lot more than chocolate would have. So now I'm having 400 grams of raw cacao powder daily. I've been doing that a couple days, so I should see a marked effect, but it'll take 6 to 8 weeks. This is like the maximal amount of cacao powder before you get into diminishing returns, and you don't want to go too much more. You're getting into kind of crazy doses. There's such a thing as too much of a good thing. So that has really helped a lot in terms of my recovery. Just in the past 6 weeks, I've noticed a big difference. Now, something else I started taking within that period, and you could say, well, that could be what's causing it, but it's actually both. Something else is this stuff. It is called, get a look here. Well, it's hard to read it, but it's methylene blue, pharmaceutical grade. Now, this was not created as a medicine. It was actually an industrial dye. And this shit'll dye just about anything. You can't drink this straight. You dilute it with water, and then you don't get, a blue tongue and blue teeth. And that's what I do. I dilute it with water. Each drop is 0.5 milligram. So it's very easy to dose out. I'm on about 7.5 milligrams a day right now. Shit works. Energy, baby. It gives me mad. It's given me mad. I've got a lot more energy now than I did before. I've got more. It's like, it's a big difference. And also, I have greater clarity. Might not seem it right now, but I'm very tired. I spend a lot of time working. Time I wouldn't have been able to do. Time I wouldn't have been able to work without this stuff. Now, it does have some side effects for me anyway. It makes me a little more irritable. Yeah. So I really got to be careful with the dose, got to weigh the pros and the cons, but it also gives me more energy and clarity of mind. So, the pluses outweigh the minuses. I just got to be careful with my temper. It does make me a little more irritable than I would normally be, but it's not too bad as long as I'm mindful of it. And then number 3 is this stuff. creatine. Now, this is the premium monohydrate. It's crystallized, essentially. You put it in water. It looks like cocaine, but it's not cocaine. It looks like, well, it looks like cocaine. Yeah. But anyway, it's a very fine powder. You mix it in with liquid and you drink it. It turns out in very high doses, it can help with mental clarity and focus. It's also very good for energy. And it can also be very helpful for those who have had heart attacks like me, because what's a heart attack? It's damage to your heart. What does creatine help you do besides help with the ATP, energy production? It also helps build muscle and heal damaged muscle. Well, you've got damaged muscle, you need to build new muscle, and the heart is a muscle. So I was doing 10 milligrams a day. I was doing 5 actually. I've just recently bumped it up to 10. Today I did 15. There is an upper limit, of course. Again, too much of a good thing. But the creatine has very few side effects, actually. There's very few recorded instances of people actually suffering any real harm or like overdosing on it. I mean, I suppose you could if you took like a nutty amount. But at higher doses, it also helps with energy production. So I'm taking these 3 things. They're really helping. And I expect the cacao powder to be the most helpful thing, because I suffered damage to my entire body, all my systems, and stem cells, well, very helpful. Now, the doubling of stem cells in the human body is possible with taking upper doses, like 200 to 400 milligrams of cacao powder a day. So that's what I'm doing. So I probably wasn't getting the full effect from the chocolate. I have seen a difference, but I expect to see more of a difference, much more, now that I'm on the maximal dose. And so it will literally double the number of stem cells in your body, not only amount, but that are bioavailable. And they're going to seek out damaged tissue, damaged cells, and, well, regenerate them. So you don't really, I won't say you don't need, if I could afford the 50 grand to get a big giant IV bag with 100 million exogenous stem cells, which would just immediately seek out and repair any damaged tissue, sure, I'd love that. All right? It'd be a nice shortcut, nice hack. But I can't afford that. So this is the next best thing. And this will help very much as well. All these 3 of these things. Also, the methylene blue is also known for helping with regeneration. I have to do more research into that. But it can also be helpful for healing. And, of course, the creatine as well. So if it's a muscle building capability. But all of them can help with, especially the cacao powder, but all of them combine regeneration, muscle growth, healing, and energy production, which is what I really need. But yeah, that's where my health is kind of at right now. I don't want to get into my finances. They really suck right now. So if there's anybody out there who hasn't already made a donation but could afford to do so, I'd appreciate it if you go check out my GoFundMe in the link in the description, and you'll be taken to a page that tells you everything that happened to me last year that caused me to be where I am now. Anyway, no commenters. So I just wanted to hop on. Yeah, so if you're somebody who's having memory problems right now, or if you're somebody who is experiencing poor energy, you're just like, you have a hell of a time just getting motivated to do something. You just don't feel like doing anything. You have no energy. Maybe you have difficulty focusing. Of course, that could be TikTok brain. But or you've had a heart attack like me, suffered septic shock, or just something that has done damage to your body. These three things: creatine, methylene blue, and raw cacao powder. That's the biggie in terms of healing. This raw cacao powder will turn your body into a stem cell factory. You will double the amount of stem cells that your body creates. But it doesn't just cause your bone marrow to create more stem cells. It also causes the stem cells to become bioavailable. It causes them to leave the bone marrow and enter your bloodstream. So the effect is twofold. It creates and disseminates. So, I mean, the effect. And I felt a big difference just from eating 100% cacao chocolate for the past month and a half. I can't imagine how much better I'll feel in another month and a half getting the full dose that was studied in, well, studies that found a 200% or 100%, that'll be a 100% increase, increase in your stem cell production, which is just huge when you think about it. Now, the methylene blue, maybe you're a little skeptical about taking what is essentially a industrial dye. Maybe you've heard stories about it turning your brain blue and your organs blue. This is not true. It doesn't do that. Yes, your urine will be green, but that's not harmful. This doesn't harm you. Okay, don't worry about this. It's not harmful. Do your own research, especially not at low therapeutic doses like 7-8 grams. Real side effects only occur when you get into hundreds of grams, which is a treatment for certain diseases, which methylene blue actually can also treat for. But at low therapeutic doses, it's good for energy, mental clarity, memory, focus. Like I said, the only side effect I've experienced from it that's annoying is it makes me a little more irritable. But I can live with that. So look into these things. If you're having health issues, if you're having health problems, again, methylene blue, 100% cacao powder, 2 doses at 200 milligrams a day, and 10 to 20 milligrams of creatine per day, 2 to 3 times a day. If your health is suffering, if you need energy, this will make a huge difference in how you feel. But for the cacao powder, it's going to take 6 to 8 weeks to start to see an effect. But I'm already feeling the effects. I mean, I'm able to work more. I'm able to put more time in. My heart doesn't hurt anymore. Just a little over a month and a half ago, before I started on the methylene blue, I mean, I couldn't do any real labor without my heart hurting quite a bit. And if I tried to work longer than a certain amount of hours, my heart would just be, really, really causing me agony. Now, my heart's not hurting no more. Probably has as much to do with the cacao, but it's also probably something to do with methylene blue. But again, do your own research, do your own due diligence. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a healthcare professional, so these are just my own personal experiences and opinions. They're not advice on what to do with your health. I also wouldn't tell you to take a dose of the horse paste because it initiates autophagy in regards to your cells and promotes the same kind of sloughing off of old cells as, say, a course of heavy fasting. I wouldn't tell you to do that, even though the horse paste, just 1 dose, and if you had a little, container of it, it tells you how many pounds, and for the animal, and you put it to that poundage, and if you were to take that, you know, it would be as if you had fasted for 36, 48 hours. And so your body would slough off all your old cells. And even though I myself did that because, well, I nearly died, so I figured I probably got a lot of old cells that need to get out of here. And that helped quite a bit as well. I wouldn't tell you to do that. Again, I'm just telling you my own personal experience and the things that I had to do because, frankly, I was running out of options because I was having no improvement in my health. And it was, every day was just a constant slog just to move and get out the door, and so limited by my poor physical health, which has now improved so much just off of these few things. But anyway, I'll put my email in the description. You want to know a little bit more, you can email me. But since there's no commenters, I'm going to sign out. I do ask that if you can afford to make a donation to help me get through the rest of August, so that business will pick up and then I can get myself out of this place and this hole. I greatly appreciate it. Any amount's greatly appreciated. On that note, I'm out of here, folks. I am the MGTO, philosopher, also known as the realist. And I wish you all a good and pleasant day. Take care.